David, I'm Alberto. I'm the founder of the AIRR Group, and we thank you for taking off your time and being with us in here. Just a quick introduction for everybody. We're recording already. We have Rupesh, which is the co-producer of the AiRR podcast, and we had David from the Netherlands, Amsterdam, and he's the CEO of Functional Analytics. And David, first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and company?
Sure, thank you. My name is David Kuhn. I'm a mathematician, GTS charged. I finished a Master of Mathematics in Hungary and then in the Netherlands. That's how I ended up here. I was offered a great opportunity to study here in the Netherlands, and I just fell in love with the country and I stayed here. It was coming up on 15 years slowly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you decide to form Functional Analytics? What was the driving impulse behind that?
Right, that goes back around 20 years. Back, so my co-founding, the company was co-founded by myself and a friend of mine. We went to high school together, actually. So we each know each other for 26 years now. We studied at the same university, but he studied something like computer science. The master was called programming mathematician. And I studied theoretical mathematics, applied mathematics. And we worked together with another computer scientist on an algorithm that was a very, very, very special case of what later became known as MapReduce. The whole MapReduce framework is not ours, don't get me wrong. It's just something, we have stumbled upon a special case of it. And we're really proud and very happy. And the university told us that it's stupid and it's useless and we should abandon it completely. which we did. And 2 years later, Google patented the idea of MapReduce and then open sourced it later. And we decided then that, okay, maybe we were smart and the university was stupid. So we should do something together and maybe we should give some more credit to ourselves when we have an idea. And later, after the university, we decided that we will give it a try together.
What about the platform? What about the platform that you have right now?
Yes, so the OnR platform came about when we started out as a company. Because I'm an actuary by training, our target market was financial services. And our first idea was building custom models for financial services. We have always wanted to be a product company, not a service company. So we always wanted to build a product together and scale it accordingly. Now, the first idea of building models went wrong very quickly. That's big companies have their own modeler teams. Small companies are too small to have their own models. And medium-sized companies require one of the big four to give a rubber stamp. So that market was not open to us, unfortunately, at all. But it allowed us to start talking to financial services companies and what their problems around modeling are. And quite a few years back, we found this company who was one of the first in the Netherlands to use R seriously. And they had a very, very, very smart manager called Anthony Hems, he's still with the company, who said, okay, we go R, but we go production. So it's not enough for us that R is running on a laptop. We already have that didn't work out. We want to have a production environment. Mm-hmm. We actually helped them build that. It was a slightly over-engineered, typical in-house project that went out of scope quite a lot. Yes.
Excuse me, let me interrupt you in here, but let's first, to all our listeners,
yes,
if you have financial services need in analytics, artificial intelligence, David is the person.
Actually, we don't do a lot of financial services anymore, but that's how the platform came around. We saw how difficult it is to productionize R, and we realized it must be easier. And
that's the hard work. The production is the hard work.
Yes, and we make it easier. Nobody can make it easy, but we make it a lot easier. So that's how the platform came about, to help companies productionize their data analytics tools. At the time we are now also Python, and we are working on integrating Julia, because I believe that's the next big thing in data science.
Rupesh, could you follow with our first question here?
Yes. So, David, the theme of our podcast on air is AGI Inception, Artificial General Intelligence Inception. So, to trigger the inception, we would need one starter word. What would your word be?
Yes, my starter word would be compassion.
Compassion.
Wow, good.
Yes, the reasoning behind is I'm a risk manager by training. I was thinking about two things: safe and creative. And I'm a risk manager, so I wanted something closer to safe, but safe is very dry and is very likely would not work. If you purely drive something from safety perspective, it's gonna fail. In the AGI setting, that is very specifically. But compassion, it has this aspect of safety that I'm looking for, right? It kind of says limit the harm you are doing. So there is a safety aspect I would like to see, but there is a bit more freedom to it than safe.
I'm so impressed, David. I am so impressed. I have talked to about 10, 12 people, and they all have given me, listen, adapt, attention, honesty, mercy, discipline, passion, and a bunch of other discernment. But yours, it takes both into consideration what I would call a spiritual nature of our existence, and also an economic impact of our existence. And let me give you the example that we like to give is there are two people who have the pandemic. They only have 30 seconds to live. The only way for them to live will be put in a ventilator, and there's only one ventilator, and your artificial intelligence, which says compassion, that is going to be filtering everything through that word, compassion. And the only thing that you know is that one person is older than the other, and your artificial intelligence is going to need, it can ask two questions. What two questions based on compassion would you think it was? And you have all the information in the internet.
See, every single thing what the artificial intelligence will think will get filtered through compassion.
Here is proof I'm not one of those. I'm not AGI. I am a human being. Here is proof, because I don't know. An AGI would give you an answer. But, which one of you should I save would be definitely a question to ask. So ask input. Which is, I know it's also sharing the blame. I appreciate that. That's a very human aspect of things. But I'm also confident that it would help decide. For the 30 seconds, okay, wait, you said 30 seconds. That's not the question they can answer in 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, no, they have 30 seconds. You have time to answer.
Okay. Right.
No, 30 seconds is
I don't think they could answer. I don't think they could answer it. They also have to answer in 30 seconds, right? So it has to be a question they can answer quickly.
Well, see, if you don't make a decision, both of them, if your artificial intelligence doesn't make a decision, both die.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nasty update of the problem, right?
Well, but there's some. I need to tell you, I disagree with you. You are a general artificial intelligence, and me too. The only thing is that we're biological.
Yes. Okay. The brilliant XKCD has made that point. The guy says, I liked when I teach something to my interns. I like to refer to it like I trained two neural networks to do this task. That's how he phrases it every time he teaches something to his interns. I trained these two neural networks, not artificial neural networks, but neural networks nevertheless. There was a fantastic sci-fi where they approached the concept of an intelligent race that is created by another intelligent race. So intelligent race creates another intelligent race, but specifically without consciousness. So they don't have individualists. They suffer. They hate it. They know they are missing something, but they can't have it, and they suffer. Their whole existence is horrible because they have intelligence, but they don't have consciousness to it.
Well, think about it. if you put compassionate first and cautious second,
Yes.
So you're literally you're building the nodes that is going to learn that artificial intelligence. Of course, I always wonder when you do that. At one point or another, you will have access to all the information in the internet, and of course, the internet is not church. Let's put it like that. Yeah. So how do you think? First, two questions. How does consciousness, do you think it could arrive? Even if it's not like consciousness like us, how do you think it will arrive?
Yeah, that's a question that I have been thinking about more than healthy for not an expert. I don't know. It comes with self-awareness, so it has to be the realization that I'm different than everybody else around me. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of discussions on this with a social psychologist friend of mine, a very, very good friend of mine, who said that the theory of mind, which is a very basic concept in consciousness, that you are aware that the other thing you are talking to is not a thing, but it's also a thinking thing. It's also a conscious thing. That realization comes in children as well, so that's something that babies don't have. So you can actually observe that in your children as they grow up and they realize. My son, he plays a lot of chess. And I remember when he was explaining to me that, yes, I could do this, and it would be great if that person makes this mistake, and that would make it possible for me to win like this.
Good.
But they are very smart, so they won't make that mistake. I have to plan accordingly, he said. And he was like 6. And I was like, wow, you just consciously realized the theory of mind, and you just became aware of it. Like, that was such an insight for me. So,
and you know something? If you talk to your son, and as you're saying that you're talking about this, and you talk about the podcast today, we'll bring him in. We'll bring him in. Oh yeah, we'll bring you and him. So that I always believe I learn that the most that I learn, the younger that the people are, is that because they don't have no boundaries.
Agreed.
There's no social filters which make them think otherwise. Like the ideas are real and ideas are fresh. Like ideas are literally like ideas.
As we grow up, we put boxes around ourselves and we close off ideas. So the wonderful Terry Pratchett argued that the best way to do something impossible is not to know it's impossible. If you don't know it's impossible, you will attempt it with a different heart, and then you can do it.
And it always starts in the mind. That's what I try to teach my children, and that it always starts in the mind. And that's what is important for children to read, because it stimulates the mind, the visualization there.
Yes. I mean, it's something we have been talking about way back with a colleague in robotics.
Mm-hmm.
That at the time deep learning didn't exist. AlphaGo was not even a dream, and we were talking that but rule-based will never work. You know, there is too many muscles to move. Too many. I mean, when I talk to my kids, like when you write a letter, you have no idea what muscles to use. You can't consciously decide I'm going to move this muscle and this muscle and this muscle, and I'm going to write a letter. That's not how it goes. So if you try to teach a robot to do that, you're going to fail. You are doomed already. Mm-hmm. We were discussing that we have to replicate the way kids learn, trial and error, and when the reward when you succeed. And today, that's actually the natural way of doing things in AI, as much as that's intelligence, but in the deep learning frameworks. And AlphaGo has been a perfect proof of that.
That is alpha intelligence.
Yes.
I think that intelligence should start at the smallest possible, and I think in nanotechnology at this point. And I was reading an article how they can induce, they can transfer information, data, just think data, with a laser. It's called laser-induced information transfer at the molecular level. So once you can do that, you can put a lot of information on a very small space.
If you, what my personal opinion is that first AGI will be hive-like. like a beehive or an anthill, which shows a lot higher level of intelligence than every individual unit.
That's true.
So to replicate an ant level intelligence is still very far, but that's much closer in reach than the human level intelligence. The mathematics of how ants work is more and more understood, and the biology of the ant's brain is a lot simpler. And bees are already a level up compared to ants. You can also see that the beehive is much smaller and still replicates the same hive intelligence as an anthill. So let's start small, even maybe smaller than anthill. But I think that's gonna be the first one. The first one's gonna be hive-like because that's a lot easier to build limited intelligence in agents that then together show a higher level of structure. Also, that frightens me very badly because hive-like intelligence is very different than human-like intelligence.
Yeah.
We don't really understand it from an etymology perspective. We don't know how it arises. We don't know how it works. And that means that it's much more difficult to control and to talk to it, right? To communicate in a sensible way, because if you have such a different way of view.
And intelligence is basically not knowing everything. Intelligence is the methodology of understanding everything and doing
Very
everything
true.
right. Like that is why the beehive example which you mentioned is brilliant, because it starts with a small hive and it keeps on getting bigger, because you've just figured it out and you replicate that process ahead.
Yes.
Well, that's the process of quantum computing, by the way. and what is behind it. And there is the theory, basic theory that intelligence is all around us. And as a matter of fact, just this week came an article. Is the universe conscious? Is the universe conscious? And David, I'm gonna let you with that, and I think after that we're gonna wrap up and thank our associates and everything. So, what do you think about that?
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so.
The consciousness, the power of the consciousness lies in the subconscious, indirectly. Like most of the times, we don't even know what we are consciously doing. But we
information bottleneck, right? Information bottleneck. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So obviously, like Alberto said, the universe is conscious. I definitely would agree to that in a way. Like it is conscious by not knowing it is conscious, but subconsciously conscious.
We always say, as humans, we often refer to, right? Mother Earth does this, or Mother Earth doesn't care. Compassion, by the way, right? That's thing. Like one of the things is Mother Earth doesn't care if humanity kills itself, right? Earth will go on, and life on Earth will go on. And if Mother Earth is conscious, maybe it will be sad about it, but it will go on. It will move on, and life as a whole. That's only one planet. One planet is life, but probably there are others out there. So I would say probably the universe is conscious, and probably it's a hive mind of many planets that are kind of semi-conscious and subconscious. Like Rupesh.
Thank you very much, David. We really appreciate this compassionate and cautious. Those are David's words to start a one-word command for a self-assembly AI. I think this is good. We're looking for our next guest, and hopefully at one point we could have you and your son, and we will have an interesting discussion. The four of us. Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye.